Hey now, beautiful people. So I have created a second channel just for backup, let's just say. But I would like to ask everyone who enjoys following the content that I share um, to please come over and subscribe to Miss Q, MISSQ, second channel, because I will be sharing from both pages temporarily anyway. And building up this page in the meantime and maybe eventually only using this page. Not sure right now. So if you like hanging out, just click on this little button right here, says subscribe, and you'll be in the mix. Oh, if you want to know when I do upload new content, of course, you have to click the notification bell to get those reminders. All right, beautiful people, I just wanted to let you know, please come over and subscribe in case for any reason Q Carlock, the channel Q Carlock, happens to go away, we'll still be here. All right, beautiful people. We'll talk soon. Two-car garage with an extra garage in the back. A fireplace, laundry room, a bar, a recreation room. More than enough space for a family. On a beautiful winter's day. At least it started out beautiful. There were two little boys home alone with their mom and dad. The boys are ORRIN and ORSON West. Their adoptive parents, Jacqueline and Giselle West. The story goes that Jacqueline was busy inside this home wrapping gifts, and the boys were with Giselle outside on the back patio. They were allowed to play with the dog while he was bringing firewood into the house. Now I'm telling this story like it was told to us. For anybody who's going, yeah, no, that didn't happen. I know. But this is what they said. He's out there getting firewood from the big area next to his home that you saw in the video here. She's inside that beautiful home wrapping gifts, and there was nowhere for those kids to run around in that big old 4-bedroom house. So they had him outside on that back porch. And he turns his back in some direction.
I love the layout of this house. I love it.
And the boys are gone without a trace.
This tour was this area right here that leads to the back patio.
That all happened on December 21st.
On the back patio. Well, there's this room.
2020.
And this room she used for like a sitting area.
And the boys are still missing. Hey, beautiful people. So I am battling a ferocious headache. I'll tell you right now. I won't be talking very much. Currently curled up. Let me see if I can put a sneak peek up here. Where's the thingy? Oh, there we go. Better look fast. It's out of here. So I'm going to lay here on my heating pad and with my CBD and my ibuprofen and things. And we're going to just look at a couple of the cases of our missing people. We're still trying to find them. We got to keep saying their names, telling their stories, lifting them up in spirit. So I'm just going through some of the playlists and sharing some of the cases you may have heard about. Some of them you may may not have heard about. But we certainly need to do this and keep their names alive. So that is where we're going today. Hope everybody's having a beautiful, beautiful day. Please excuse me for not doing all the shout outs, but my head is literally pounding. I have taken everything, Tracy. It's related to my tooth, which is becoming such a big headache. But yes, believe it or not, I've taken everything. I feel like I've had a headache for a whole 24 hours. Just feels like it's never ending. So that kind of sucks. But I'll be okay. I am alive. So somebody has it worse. I don't have peppermint oil, but you know what I do have? I ordered this clove oil. And I just need to get my butt to the mailbox and get it out. Because everyone was saying clove oil. Excuse me. So I ordered online and it took a few days to get here, but it did come. Should probably send my son to the mailbox and try that out. Kenka, Tylenol, ibuprofen, CBD, heating pad. Lord have mercy. I can't think of anything else. But you guys let me know. Peppermint oil. Okay. Yeah, I like essential oils too. I didn't know peppermint oil was good for a toothache. Good to know. Good to know. I'll put it on the list. So beautiful people, I just wanted to explain why oh, does it? Oh shoot, Randy. That's the last thing I need is a headache. Oh my God. I just wanted to let you guys know. So if you don't hear me talking much throughout the live, well, you will hear me in the videos, of course, but as far as live, if anyone comes in and greets me, if you guys could help me out and let them know I love them to death. But I gotta ease up on the talking because it hurts. So with that said, I do want to share our first video, and this is a replay of a live that we did. Is it a live? Let me see. Don't let me lie to you guys. It's a replay of a video. I'm not sure if it's a live, but it is about the Cal City boys who we know have been missing for far too long. It'll be a year in December. Those babies need to be sitting around somebody's Christmas tree, opening up gifts with bright eyes. I pray that they will be. Let's recap on their story. Much love to all of you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you, moderators. Hold me down. Two-car garage with an extra garage in the back. A fireplace, laundry room, a bar, a recreation room. More than enough space for a family. On a beautiful winter's day, At least it started out beautiful. There were two little boys home alone with their mom and dad. The boys are ORRIN and ORSON West. Their adoptive parents, Jacqueline and Giselle West. The story goes that Jacqueline was busy inside this home wrapping gifts, and the boys were with Giselle outside on the back patio. They were allowed to play with the dog while he was bringing firewood into the house. Now I'm telling this story like it was told to us. For anybody who's going, yeah, no, that didn't happen. I know. But this is what they said. He's out there getting firewood from the big area next to his home that you saw in the video here. She's inside that beautiful home wrapping gifts, and there was nowhere for those kids to run around in that big old 4-bedroom house. So they had him outside on that back porch. And he turns his back in some direction.
I love the layout of this house. I love it. And
the boys are gone without a trace.
This tour was this area right here that leads to the back patio.
That all happened on December 21st.
On the back patio. Well, there's this room.
2020.
And this room she used for like a sitting area.
And the boys are still missing. Hi, John. I saw you slip in. I gave a whole big announcement about how I can't speak, but I saw you right before I started the video. Hello, hello. Make sure y'all show John his love. He did an excellent live on the boys last night. And I am piggybacking. So let's roll. And I have not forgotten about you, John. As soon as this headache subsides, I will call you. AV United We Stand. He is live right now, and I'm a little behind, but it's because hello, beautiful people. So I want to share AV United We Stand. He is live right now, and I'm a little behind, but it's because I want to share this, and I don't want to put it on my to-do list because it's another one of those topics that needs to be hot right now. It's been 6 months. It's been 6 whole months for these baby boys. And we have no idea where they are. There have been a couple of new developments here lately, and so it's heating up again. And of course, I just want to do my part and help spread that word. How many times did I say? Bear with me, you guys. I don't like how it's skipping like that. So instead of sharing the video file, I'm going to share my screen and play the file from my playlist, hopefully without that interruption, because that's not going to work. Okay, let's remove this one. let's mute the sound on that one. No. Let's go here. Here we go.
I mean, it wouldn't be as deep because most people don't
Yeah,
dig
back it
6
up.
feet holes when they.
There we go.
Hello, beautiful people. So I want to share AV United We Stand. He is live right now, and I'm a little behind, but it's because I want to share this and I don't want to put it on my to-do list because it's another one of those topics that needs to be hot right now. It's been 6 months. It's been 6 whole months for these baby boys. And we have no idea where they are. There have been a couple of new developments here lately, and so it's heating up again. And of course, I just want to do my part and help spread that word. How many times did I say and? But AV is one of the ones who has been on this day one, and he's going to share a video from what I've seen so far from Crenshaw Incorporated, who is another who has been on this since day one. I'm sure he'll have lots more great information for us because he's all over it, this and other cases. So if you don't know him for some reason, definitely check him out if you care. If you care about people, this is a great, great channel for you. Anyway, I'm going to just give you a quick overview. These little boys went missing from their adoptive parents' home allegedly on December 21st. They were said to be playing in the yard, and then guess what? Vanished. And I don't say that lightly. A lot of us think the story, I think most of us, stories where everybody's pretty much in agreement. Shocking as that may seem, the internet agrees sometimes. We're all pretty much.
That's driving me crazy, y'all. Hold on. I just can't do those. Okay, am I tripping or do you guys hear the breaking up the way that I do? I'm gonna switch to a different device. My son's computer. He's got the supercomputer in the house. Sorry, gang. This would probably be easier if I weren't laying down, but I swear I can't get off this heating pad. Okay, I'm gonna stop this screen. I'm gonna start this one because I feel like his computer is better than mine. Let's just be honest. Now, I just realized that video was the 6 month mark, and he's going to talk about the conflict of interest, which is important. But I do believe, I know, John, that's crazy. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm going to take a different route. And maybe God was just trying to tell me something. Because we want to get you the latest update we have on the boys. And that would have come from last night. Um, the man himself, Mr. John QQ. He also did have AV Watchman pop up there. Somebody named Miss Q was there, and oh shoot, John, help me out with her name. Mm-mm-mm. Truth Seeker. I remember that part. So yay, we got 2.3 thousand views on this one already, John. Great job. This was all about the boys. And we're going to start here and just roll on from there. I have a whole list of people that I want to share, but we are going to start with the boys.
Make sure you guys hit that like and share button. And forgive me, infamous truth seekers. Thank you so much. And much love, of course, to all of the OGs. I'm not going to go through the list because I don't want to forget anybody. But you guys know who they are. They've been on this case from the start. What we strive to do is to keep their names alive and not let the powers that be think that they can let this become a cold case. So we will keep saying their names, even if we have to repeat the same damn story until we get something new. Keep your eyes peeled because every time we review together, we might see something. It's the benefit of critical thinking together. So, with that said, I'm shifting gears. I am going to share John's stream from last night until he says stop. And hopefully, my eyes will be open to see that because I'm closing them periodically over here um, for this headache. But it was an excellent live, and it does exactly what I want to do today, which is recap on those that are missing. So let's get it started in here. Let's see, John. I want to get that intro and everything. Back it up. Back it up. Okay, there we go. No, it's at 15 seconds. Thank y'all for bearing with me. I swear I can't sit up and do this right. All right, here we go. Shouts out to John Q. Thank you so much. Where are the boys?
All right, all right. We are live. How is everybody doing? We're back. Much love to everybody. Coming in the chat. I hope your little vacation was good. Getting away from things. That's always good to do. Everybody needs a break. Leslie B is up in the house moderating tonight. Thank you, Leslie B. As always, y'all get here before I do. Sweet Caroline, how are you? Quiche all day. Much love to you, Quiche. Isabel Rodriguez is in the house. The real T is in the house. All standing in line like we got tickets. Sherry Manning is in the house. Lori Grace is in the house. Thank you, Lori. Much love to you. Michelle Sweeney. Hello, hello to you. I know what you meant, Michelle. You had to correct that hello, hello real quick. I know, I've done it too. Life is Real is here. Miss Crystal Moore is here. Thank you, Miss Crystal, for joining us this evening. Thank you for moderating. Y'all get here before I do. Daniel Drawson, Welcome. Daniel is back. I've seen that name before. Welcome. Well, tonight I wanted to join back with you, cover some segments regarding our California boys missing since December 21st of 2020. Wanted to get on here and give a big shout out to everyone that supported the campaign that we worked on last month. We seem to have gotten through. We seem to have gotten through, along with the help of every single person that's on this case, covering it from boots on the ground, covering it from the YouTube community, covering it from Facebook, covering it from Instagram, all of the social platforms. We seem to have made some headway. I am very glad, extremely glad. I'm sure that you are too. Win Dan Senior, you gotta help me to pronounce that. But Wyndon SR, how's that? Miss New York is in the house. Much love to you. Welcome. Silver Fox is in the house. Welcome. Stephanie Queen is in the house. Yeah, we seem to have made some headway. And I'm going to share that headway with you this evening. I was surprised in a good way, not a bad way, but very surprised to see that we have received some recent news over the last 3 days from Bakersfield Police Department in California. And they happen to have given some sort of an update to the news station that we had called last month. And of course, prior to that, and all of a sudden, we see three and a half days ago, something pop up from the efforts of everyone following the case. And that's good because, like I said, collectively, we can do a whole lot more in getting results in this case than doing it separately and hope something pops up. So with that said, you know what time it is. Welcome, everybody. Coming into the chat, we're just getting things warmed up as we always do. Air Force 5 is in the house. Welcome, sir, Air Force 5. I'm going to do something special for you. Next time you take a look at what you type, Brother Air Force, you will notice a color change. Yes, much love to you, Miss Libby in the house. Okay, so with that said, you know what time it is. We got to go to work. Going to work is going to work. So it's time to go to work. Time to go to work. And the only kind of work it's time to do is the work at hand. Time to cue the truth. So, with that said, we got a little bit of information to cover with you tonight. So there is an update. Yes, there is. Miss Night Owl, how are you? Much love to you. I got to get back over there and say hello to Miss Angela. She's been working hard. All right. So to begin with, I got some good news. You saw the title of the live tonight, Bakersfield PD update. They did give a little bit of one, not very much, but at least it says that our efforts together do make a difference. They do make a difference. And with everyone working together, we can make a hell of a difference. Asia Doe, how are you? Connie Lockridge, welcome. Slim Hoffa, I've seen a channel of yours. Slim Hoffa, welcome. Denver Gigi, Bakersfield is my hometown. I hope BPD is getting on. Yeah, they seem to have said something to let us know that they are still on this case. The case is not cold, and that's good. Gives us some hope that things are channeling through. Developments are happening. Things are being done. People are being interviewed. Places are being searched. Items are being relooked at, reinvestigated since December 21st of 2020, where this all started out of California City, California. So with that said, let's go to work tonight. Let me take you back to a point to bring you to our point tonight. And as always, before we begin, we like to put up a disclaimer. All information shared in tonight's live is covered under the copyrights disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. This disclaimer under this section gives allowance, especially to content creators like myself and others, is made for fair use for the purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Where we start, where we have started, where we always start, is with our boys, Classic and Sincere Pettis. Two boys that went missing in California City, California, December 21st of 2020, off of Aspen Avenue. And how they went missing is still puzzling today. It was troubling to find out that the California Police Department, their chief, John Walker, along with other investigators on the scene at the location, couldn't find out how these two boys got out of the backyard, could not identify any means or ways that these two boys got out of that yard. And you have to ask yourself that question. How is that possible? Two, not one, two. Both of them disappeared at the same time. Cisco, how you doing? DeWalsh, how are you? Language of Horses, welcome. Two of them. Ages 3 and 4, now 4 and 5. 2 birthdays passed this year for Classic and Sincere. And one thing that we do know is that Mama showed up wanting to know what happened to her boys. Let me do this differently. I think I wanted to do it this way so that I could do it this way. California City, 2 days after the boys went missing, Miss Ryan Dean, biological mother of Classic and Sincere, showed up in California City and wanted to know what happened to her boys. What happened to these 2 boys? Why are they missing? Did somebody do something to them? And we heard Ryan Dean make a statement in the news media that carried the news on these boys. And at that time, it was KGET News, as well as ABC 23 out of California City. And she suspected that Trezell and Jacqueline West these guys did something to her boys. These are the adoptive parents of Classic and Sincere. And at that time, the story goes, the narrative, or the whatever you want to call it, by both of these adoptive parents, they had adopted Classic and Sincere back in April of 2019. They moved to California City in the month of September of 2020, bought a house, a beautiful $197,000 house out here in California City, California, right here on Aspen Avenue. Shortly thereafter, in the month of December, as the story goes, as the story we've heard from both Trezell and Jacqueline West, he went outside. It was cold that day. He wanted to make a fire. His wife didn't mind if the boys played outside on the back patio, playing with chalk. He goes outside. He starts tossing wood through a gated area. He goes into the house. He sees the boys. He turns around, and they're gone. We've heard similar words come out of the Summer Wells case. The mother called downstairs for her child. There was no answer. She goes downstairs. There's no sign of her. And the mother says she was just gone. Similar stories. But as this story unfolded, they searched the house. They searched the yard. We saw Trezell get in his van, take 7 minutes to go around the neighborhood, return back home, and in 12 minutes, California City Police arrive to assist them in searching for the 2 missing boys, Classic and Sincere. In short order, we have learned and found out a lot about Trezell and Jacqueline West. As I've always stated before, and I'll always state again and again and again, what you do speaks so loud, what you say, I can hardly understand. And that is the theme of the story that both Trezell and Jacqueline West gave us. We're watching what you're doing more so than what you're saying, because what you're doing contradicts a lot of what you've said. When you can begin to break down behavior patterns, and once again, I'm not in law enforcement, I'm not in the medical field, I am not a private investigator, I'm just doing my own private investigation of this particular case because I am a parent, I am a grandparent. I am concerned when it comes to our children going missing like this. I've covered cases on my channel. For those of you who are familiar with my channel, you know I've come from an area that I'd never want to hear about a young teenager, 19 years old, that was found dead in a commercial kitchen freezer in a 4.5-star hotel out in Chicago. Rosemont, Illinois, to be exact. That's where I came from. I came from that case. I'm still looking at that case today. But now to have evolved to these types of cases that I find interesting to take on and to find out the truth and the facts about them as best as I can, and to share them on my channel, which brings awareness to our community here on YouTube. You call it true crimes, you call it mysteries of the unknown, unsolved mysteries, whatever title you give it. But I thank goodness for content creators that cover these types of cases on their channel. I've mentioned them over and over and over on a lot of my lives. So, with Jacqueline and Trezell giving us a story that they gave us, and Ryan Dean absolutely positively not believing them at all, she thinks and feels in her heart and in her soul that both Trezell and Jacqueline West did something to her boys. I feel the same. What they did is still a mystery. We're still sorting it out. But it's how they presented that story to us. It's even more mysterious. Let us go to what we did just last month on this channel, and in a previous month on this channel, we've had guests on our live pertaining to those folks that were boots on the ground folks out there in California City searching for the boys during the time they went missing. We've spoken with Miss Crenshaw Incorporated. We've spoken to AV Watchman Steve. We've had a number of guests on my live panel talking about Miss Roro, biological cousin to the boys. And I'm just queuing this up because we're here to cue the truth tonight. We've had Rashawn Keep It 100 on our platform. And as soon as this stops buffering, we can get to it. And the name of the title of this particular live that I did with Steve was that the silence of the adoptive parents is extremely suspect. Even to this day. This was a phone call that I made on this live, calling the news station KGET News in reference to an update. The last time we had an update was in the tail end of May, beginning of June. I believe it was either June 1st or June 5th, one of the two. And that update just told us the amount of searches they did, the number of items that they were able to collect as evidence, how many areas outside of California City was searched, how many additional search warrants there were. There were 22 at the time, and that 22 grew to 20 more. Some of the areas that they did search. But tonight, I just want to just key you in on what we did to help keep the boys' names alive. And I'm glad we did that. And not only myself, everyone that I've spoken to on my lives made a small contribution and made a phone call, simple phone call. I'm going to let you hear the one I did on that live briefly. Yes, good evening. Could I speak with someone in reference to the Orson and ORRIN West case? Is there anyone following up on that assignment?
I don't think I have a specific reporter on it as of right now. I am the news desk. You can talk to me.
Oh, okay. My name is John Q. I have a channel on YouTube, and I wanted to, talk with you or someone who's in charge of that story coverage. I wanted to find out if there will be an upcoming update on that story. It's been pretty quiet.
Not that I'm aware of. There hasn't been one that's been told to us. I can reach out and see if there's going to be an update.
Yes, can you do that? And I guess that would be your supervisor?
Well, we would call the police, see if there's an update. As of anything else, speculation-wise, it's speculation. Right. Because I noticed that there hasn't been any updates coming from, your newsroom, and was curious as to whether the case went cold or not. No, I do not believe so. I believe it's still under investigation. I will have to follow up with police, but as far as we know, it is still ongoing investigation.
Okay. And when was the last update you guys did? Because I can't seem to find it on YouTube or any of the other social platforms.
Let's see here. I know we try to run it every week or so, at least once a week, reminding people that they're still missing. But an actual update with new information, I want to say BPD put out a timeline not too long ago on their Facebook. I want to say, I believe they sent it out to us too.
Okay, and I guess that timeline was back in May, if I'm not mistaken. Was that a May date?
That's a good question. Let me see here. Jeez, yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
Back in May, yeah, because we now, are into June is passed, July is passed, August is getting ready to pass. We're in 8 months and rolling, and there's been
it would have been June.
Yeah, it would have been June. 1st, okay, yeah. And so that was the reason I wanted to call, because I know you guys are busy with local news and things of that nature, and wanted to find out, whether there was a specific reporter still covering that case there at the newsroom.
Not as of right now. We've had a lot of
people leave, as I'm sure you've seen. And so, the newsroom is still kind of rebuilding back up right now.
Right. Are you one of those? Are you one of those reporters?
No, I've been here. I'm the assignment desk, so pretty much everything comes in out through me.
Right.
So I'm an assignment editor.
Oh, assignment editor. Okay, very good. And what is your name again? I'm sorry.
My name's Mason.
Mason. Okay, my name is John Q. It's good to meet you, Mason.
John.
And is there like a special request I can make of you, Mason, to maybe talk with one of the news reporters and try and see if you guys can get an update? Because it's long overdue.
Yeah, I'll pitch it in our meeting and see if we can find anything out. I mean, the only thing is to run an update, we got to have new info. So.
Right. And you guys usually get that from, well, it's not California City Police Department anymore. It's Bakersfield, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And is Sergeant, I guess his name is Greg Pear, is he still the lead on this?
Robert Pear, he's the PIO.
He's the PIO, okay.
Yeah. The chief is Greg Terry. I don't know the exact detective on the case. I'd have to go look.
Okay.
Let me see.
I appreciate you taking the extra effort to take my call and work with me on this, because it is important.
Yeah, no worries. So I know they've been, I believe one of the detectives is Detective Hernandez.
That's with an F or an H?
Hernandez with the H.
Hernandez.
And several other detectives, so it's not just one single detective on this case.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds pretty good. And there isn't like a log of any kind where a reporter would contact one of these detectives, whether it be Hernandez or anyone that's working the case on a daily basis or a week-to-week basis for any updates?
So it used to be our reporter Raphael Stroud was the reporter who was following this, and he has left. He is up in the Bay Area working for NBC now.
Okay.
Yeah, working for the network. So we have lost him. Let's see. I mean, yeah, it looks like we've been rerunning. We check in every once in a while with BPD, see if they have any new information. Usually that answer is no. Or they tell us, there's information, but not available to the public.
Right, okay. So when you get that kind of an answer, you guys don't report that to say that there's no new information?
When we run our follow-ups, like I said, we try to run at least once a week. We say still no new information. Anyone with information, please call Secret Witness Hotline.
Right. And when's the next scheduled update as far as your paperwork is concerned that you see of?
I'm not sure. It doesn't look like we have it scheduled yet, but I can bring it up in the meeting. It's something we need to follow up on anyway. So.
Yeah, definitely, because since June, I think since you bring that up, we're swinging out of August, getting ready to go into another season within the next couple of weeks.
Right. We're a month away from fall.
Yeah, pretty much. And school's starting for a lot of the kids and everything else like that. And I always think of ORRIN and ORSON, being now 5 and 4. At least for one of the boys being of school age, he would be starting school.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to find out, by calling and speaking with someone there tonight, and I'm glad it was you, in reference to any updates, because there are a lot of folks online that I talk to that always ask me, is there any updates on the boys? Any updates on the boys? And I see none, I hear none. I start scratching my head out of curiosity to say, well, the news was covering this almost back to back when it broke, but now it's gone quiet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just no new info coming out. If we get new info, it's going to be out there.
Okay, so Matt, is there anything that I would have to do in order to follow up with you to make sure that this goes forward?
I mean, you can always give me a call, but it will go forward. It's definitely on our radar, and it hasn't left. It's just other things are happening, and only so much time in a newscast. If we don't get an update, we usually don't post anything new.
Right. Okay. So between, I guess, my phone call with you this evening and the end of the month, would I be reaching too far to say something could develop within the next couple of weeks?
I mean, possibly not. I mean, it just depends. I mean, we'll definitely run something. At least even if it's just a, hey, if you see these kids, please call.
Right. Okay. Well, Matt, it was Mason. It was very good talking with you. I will follow up with you now that you usually work during these hours.
Yeah, 9:30, 6:30.
Oh, okay. And I can get you at this number?
Sure can.
Oh, okay. Well, very good. Once again, my name is John Q. I have a channel on YouTube that I cover, true crime stories and everything. And wanted to reach out to you guys because it's kind of been very quiet getting updates and whatnot. So I appreciate your time and at least speaking with me in regards to this matter.
No worries. Oh, cool.
Okay. All right. Well, take care. And I look forward to seeing an update very soon.
All right. You have a good one.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. That was our call to KGET News. And that was to Mason. And that's how that call went. It was a simple call just for an update. Nothing intricate, nothing complicated. Just keep it simple for folks and things stay simple. Now, let me address the chat room for a minute. Okay. All right. There was something about someone being blocked in here. Okay. Not unless there's any kind of language, foul language, or language being used toward another supporter of this channel. I do not want anyone blocked. We keep it very clean and very classy in here. So for tonight, do not block anyone, not unless I see something that I need to address, then we'll go from there. Okay, moderators? And as for anyone doing any blocking, it's DMV Bay. DMV Bay. Do not block DMV Bay. As far as I know, and from my experience with DMV Bay being in my chat, they have never done anything that would give me reason to have any one of my moderators block DMV Bay. Do not. Okay? Keep it clean. Obsidian, welcome. Welcome. So if DMV Bay is in the room, say hello so I know that you're there. I don't know if they've been blocked or timed out, but we want to keep it classy. All right. So that was my phone call to the newsroom just last month. I stayed on the phone at least once a week, whenever I could, made the same phone call. Spoke to a different desk assignment person, though. Mason wasn't always there, but nonetheless, we continue to make the campaign of calls. Other content creators that I've had on this channel also made calls. Miss Queen Talks Crime made phone calls. People who have emailed me said that they made calls, commentary underneath the lives, people supporting this small campaign of just making a simple call. All of a sudden, I turn around, and with the support and help of the folks that I had on my platform, which are boots on the ground out there in California, Miss Roro, biological cousin to the boys, always let us know in a very direct way a little bit about some of the vigils that they have out there in California for the boys. And they recently had one. And her push, along with Miss Crenshaw Incorporated's push, and a host of other people supporting them and the biological family, was able to make a breakthrough and give us exactly what we were looking for. And so much love to all of you who made that push, who made those calls, who continued to rally behind the family, the biological family, in support of getting an update broadcasted from the newsroom of KGET to report on the boys. So I'm queuing that up right now. We are making at least some kind of headway to say that, no, this case is not cold. Good. It shouldn't be 9 months later, because the boys are still missing 9 months later.
Today marks 9 months since two brothers disappeared from the California City home of their adoptive parents. The search continues, and tonight 17's Christian Galeno joins us live from Southeast Bakersfield, where a community prayer for the boys is underway at this hour. Good evening, Christian.
Tammy, a very good evening to you. And those community prayers have actually been happening for the past 9 months, and they take place anywhere from outside of BPD headquarters to the last place where those two boys lived here in Bakersfield.
It's a lot that we're learning along the way. These past 9 months have been just, it's been mind-boggling.
9 months later, and the biological family of two brothers missing from California City still have no answers.
Unfortunately, are not unfamiliar with missing children in Bakersfield. So it's something that we will continue to investigate till we come to the truth of the circumstances.
It's been 9 long months where only prayer and faith have kept hope alive.
Just pray for everybody. The police department, they're on the case, keep them in prayers. And we just pray that somebody sees it one day and will come forward.
A peaceful effort to keep attention on those that remain missing.
We're just showing our presence to let them know we're still trying to keep the awareness out there. No protesting. It's not a protest. It's a prayer, peaceful.
Because we're not dealing with adults. It's not like the national event where adults tend to leave bigger digital and life footprints.
I just can't wait for the moment that the boys get some type of justice, or just they either found or alive, and if they aren't, then we just pray for justice and closure.
And there have been countless requests to the adoptive family for comment, but they have denied every single one of those requests. While the biological tell us tonight that they will continue these community prayers until they find Orson and ORRIN, or better known to the family as Classic and Sincere. Now, if you have any information that can help authorities bring these two boys home or to any information for the case, you are asked to call Kern Secret Witness. That number is 661-322-4040. For the information from Southeast Baker, Galeno, 17 News.
Okay. And so that was the update. Just in here. So if Miss Roro is in here, you know what John Q wants to do? I would love to have you come up on the platform. I'm going to post the link inside the room for Roro only, Miss Roro. And hopefully DMV Bay will be able to chat in the room. No blocking unless it is absolutely positively 1000% necessary. DMV, okay, there you go. There you go. Welcome back. I do apologize for that, DMV Bay. I have to take responsibility for anyone who gets blocked in here. Moderators, please, please do not block anyone. If we get crazy, that crazy nonsense that goes up in chats, okay, you can take care of it. But everyone that comes to my channel is always respectable and respectful of everyone else. So that's the way I like to keep it. But yes, if Miss Roro is still in here, I would very much like to have her come up. She was a major part of the vigil out there in California. And, without folks like her out there pushing for the boys, Miss Crenshaw out there pushing for the boys, Steve out there pushing for the boys, Matt, AV News, out there pushing for the boys, Rashawn, Keep It 100, out there pushing for the boys. Without these key people, we wouldn't be getting as far as we have been getting on this case. Absolutely. So, DMV Bay, my apologies. We will keep it cool. Because you got Miss Keisha up there, you got a number of people say, "Oh, well, I'm leaving the chat room if DMV Bay is not going to come." Okay, well, let me just let this play out and then address it myself. But good to have you back. And once again, my apologies to you. If Miss New York would like to come up, you can hit that link, Miss New York. I know that you've been working behind the scenes with the team. But when I saw that recent news update, I said, wow, we made a breakthrough. Boots on the ground, phone calls going in, may have convinced them to give us an update 9 months later, but at least it's something. At least to let the public know that these guys didn't fall asleep at the wheel, which is good. Extremely good. because it lets us know that the case is still being worked. Someone needs to infiltrate the family for info. Okay. Where are the boys? Classic and sincere. Mary Martins. Absolutely. Keisha all day. Thank you for the shout out in the room. We would like to keep everybody intact. Peace and blessings to you, Lorraine Muhammad. Justice for the boys. That's right, Shirley. Slim Hoffa. Much love to you. And yes, prayers do work. It's part of who we are. You've been messaging the mayor on her personal page, asking her why no updates. Okay, Carol Smith, good. Adele Fitz, all great people in this chat working hard to find the boys. Absolutely. You're still not impressed with Mason, Miss Libby? Okay, well, he might be one of those interns that they hire from time to time. You know how, the light phone calls, but we were able to talk to someone and at least put on the table a request. And one after the other, that request turns into another request and another request and another request, just for an update. Whether they can tell us anything or not, just for an update. And that's what it was all about. And so that little small goal of getting an update was definitely reached among all of us. Sharing in this case among all of us. So much love goes out to everyone that made a contribution, for making a phone call or leaving a post on Facebook or sending an email, shouting out the boys. Where are the boys? Where's an update? We'd like to get an update. And we got one. And I am, yes, Michelle, I'm very proud of this room and proud of the other content creators covering the case. Miss Libby actually covered this case on her channel today. I know that AB covered some content regarding the boys on his channel last night, early this morning. I know that I've spoken to Tiffany Marie on her channel regarding the boys. And so with us collectively coming together and making sure that we keep awareness on the boys, that's the least we can do. Especially, being online. That's the least we can do. So with that said, yes, thank you, Miss Night Owl. Amen. What is being done to find the boys by law enforcement? Well, that's what law enforcement knows, Cisco. They don't want to tip their hand. They're not going to. Just like in the Summer Wells case. Hawkins County Police Department is not going to tip their hand as to, publicly what they're doing, where they're going, who they're talking to, anything. They're going to keep it quiet until the time is right to pop some new information publicly our way, whether they do it through a spokesperson or directly from the newsroom or the police department. So I'm going to drop that link one more time. Hopefully, Miss Roro will jump up and say a few words as to how the vigil went, who showed up, who supported. That would be great to know. And there's that link one more time. Once again, I thank everyone for joining us tonight for that brief but good update that we did get from KGET News through the Bakersfield Police Department. Always good to know that they do care. Okay. It was very good to find that out. On my side, I said, okay, we're making some headway. Okay. Just give me a moment here. I'm just trying to cue something else up to share with you. These things do drag a little bit, but we'll try to work through them. Come on, come on. Okay. No, that's not it. Okay, that's what I want. Okay. All right, I'm back with you. I'm reading the chat. Okay. Where are the boys? That's right. In Sacramento, I'm in Sacramento, and I've only seen coverage by news only once. So would it do any good to get more news coverage near California? Yeah, it would. We're pushing. We are pushing. And not only we're pushing KGET news, we'll also want to push ABC 23 out there once again. We want to get the mayor back to support that update, to let us know from her office that this case is not cold either. We want to hear from her. Absolutely. Okay. So with that said, I wanted to also share with you, I guess, something in regards to what we've been told. So we have to go back a little bit. And I'm going to share my screen once again to give it to you. You'll see it like I see it. I want to bring back in John Walker so we can hear exactly what he said nearly 7 days, a week later, after the boys went missing, what his report was. He said some things just like Trezell said some things. In our last live, we talked about the word rambunctious. They are going to be rambunctious. So we looked that up and we shared with you what the definition of rambunctious is. And he was describing his two sons as being unruly, hard to control, if you remember that. Well, here I was able to pick up another very important word of the case, in which Chief of Police John Walker out of California City, California, shared with us, and we'll hear what he has to say regarding his investigation during the time and while the police was out there looking for the boys, what they did, and how they came to a specific conclusion in a short period of time. We need to keep that consideration on the table. So with that said, let's hear what John Walker has to say. It's December 29th. That
John Walker. I'm the chief of
this
police of the
particular
California Police Department.
information came to us.
Jon, no H.
What do we got today, Chief?
I can only give you a recap of what we've been since the 21st of December. Just to give you a recap, as you all know, the 21st of December, we got a call to this location about 5:45 p.m. We were notified that there was 2 missing children, ORRIN and ORSON, both 4 and 3 years old. There was an extensive search of the neighborhood, which produced nothing.
We'll just pause that for a minute. Yes, if Miss Keish wants to come up, she can come up. If Miss Keisha all day, if you'd like to come up, I'll get you up. If you have something to share, that would be great. You are very welcome to share what you have on your mind. Let's continue. This is Police Chief John Walker's press conference.
We've done several interviews since then. We've had several agencies involved. We've been working nonstop on this thing since the 21st of December till day. As we're still working, we've been working around the clock. We have several agencies involved, like I said, and we're doing our best to locate the kids. So that's all we've got at this time. There are things in the works, but I don't want to taint or compromise the investigation at this time.
How many agencies are working with you on this case?
I would say at this time 4.
We've noticed Spectrum Police Department cars up here as well, and I understand they're taking some video from some neighbors' homes. How much are they involved in this investigation?
At this point, just peripheral. They're helping us out.
And the FBI?
The same.
Okay. It's been more than a week now since the boys disappeared. It's cold up here. It's the desert.
I'm just going to block this ad for a second. Just give me a minute. You know how YouTube likes to run their ads. And we'll get right back to the press conference. Thank you all for joining, and we'll get right back to it. Back to you, John Walker.
These boys are still alive.
I can't comment on that, whether I think they're alive or not. I do suspect foul play. We haven't been able to put together, how the boys got out of the yard or where they've gone.
Chief,
but we're doing our best.
General's website.
Let's go back over that one more time, because that's key to the investigation.
How the boys got out of the yard or where they've gone.
How the boys got out of the yard and where they've gone. Now that makes you wonder right there. 3 and 4 toddlers in the back patio playing with chalk. Yet he doesn't know how they got out of the back of that yard without some kind of assistance. That's what he said.
Yeah.
The same.
Okay. It's been more than a week now since the boys disappeared. It's cold up here. This is desert. In your gut, do you feel these boys are still alive?
I can't comment on that, whether I think they're alive or not. I do suspect foul play. We haven't been able to put together, how the boys got out of the yard or where they.
Foul play. Immediately after a week of investigation, search warrants, 2 of them, being served at the Aspen Avenue property location, they believe in foul play. So let's take a look at something here, because we need to understand, what do they mean when they say foul play? What did John Walker mean when he mentions foul play? Type in your answers in the chat. Let's see who comes up with some ideas as to what foul play is. What is foul play to you? What does foul play mean to you? Foul play means they are deceased, T. Marie says. Anything except the boys wandered off. Harm or death, adoption scams. Nefarious circumstances, Molly J. says. Care says death, period, case over, I see he means. Nothing normal with criminal outcome or intent. DeWalsh says murder. Nan says he doesn't know. Parents did something to the boys. Loretta says secretive, unlawful behavior. Brother Air Force says murder. The Real T says their story is BS. Lori Grace says unfortunate circumstances, not good. T.S. Martinez says 9 months and you don't hear nothing, but when Petito goes missing, you hear everything and police is crazy looking for her. Why for, okay. Carla Jean, suspicious. Badger Life says kidnapped or parents interfering. Brenda Cheek says murdered. Joe Smith, force them to leave the yard. Cisco says stories and evidence don't add up. Shirley says unnatural causes. Mary Martin says I don't believe that they were ever there. Air Force says criminal offense. Vicky Moore says they didn't get off the property alone. Jackie Barty, they didn't leave on their own. Elizabeth Mason says someone involved in the family. Gail Thornberry says it means a crime has been committed. It doesn't mean death. It means criminal activity. Okay, thank you, Gail. Texas Life, Julie, foul play. Facts don't add up. And they didn't backtrack on that comment. Adoption scams. They did not backtrack on that comment, even when it left from California City to Bakersfield. And yet foul play could mean, it's so vague. It could mean a lot of different things to different people. That's why I wanted everyone to share their idea of what foul play is. Hawkeye Seneca says unlawful or dishonest behavior. Night Owl says somebody knows something and they aren't speaking, which is sickening. Indeed, Night Owl. Love Ben Grams says parents involved. Adoptive parents, that is. Care says sold to trafficking, not to be found. Doesn't want to be bothered, I feel. It's terrible. Lorraine Muhammad says probably deadly result. Mary Martin says killed or trafficking. And so you see, there are many different levels, many different meanings as to what foul play is, but let's take a look. And it represents what he may be referring to. And since it's supposed to be universal language, it gives us an idea as to what Police Chief John Walker found a week later and why he made that determination. So before you, I looked it up, and here you have at least 5 elements of what foul play is. And a lot of you have touched base on it. So foul play is a noun, and the first in line is intentionally violent or injurious behavior, especially that's suggestive of a criminal act. Number 2, inappropriate, unethical, or unlawful conduct, especially to disadvantage an opponent. This would mean children. Number 3, unfair, unethical, or criminal behavior, especially of a malicious or violent nature. Number 4, any violation of rules of conduct, behavior. Number 5, unfair or dishonest behavior, especially involving violence. And so this is what we picked up from Police Chief John Walker. After a week of investigating with his team out there, along with the FBI and Bakersfield Police Department, foul play is what they believe is involved in this case concerning the boys. Yet, what evidence did they bring to our attention that indicates or suggests foul play? This is where the meat is in this case. There was nothing ever suggested as to what kind of foul play, just foul play, as they left it. And so now your mind wanders. Did something violent happen to the children? Possibly. Did something intentionally happen to the children with intent? Possibly. Did Jacqueline and Trezell West pose some kind of unlawful conduct, especially to disadvantage their opponent? Possibly. Unfair, unethical, criminal behavior, especially of a malicious or violent nature? Possibly. Unfair or dishonest behavior, especially involving violence? Possibly. Could they have been trafficked? Possibly. But then again, you'd have to go back to motive. Why? For what? For what? What is the gain? Where is the gain in that? What would motivate someone to do that to 2 young children? And the only 2 people that were there were Trezell and Jacqueline West. Now let's go back over something else that I wanted to share with you. We talked about their press conference. We've talked about Ryan Dean coming up with the idea that something happened to our boys. They knew what happened to those boys and that they did something to those boys. And that was day one. She was there 45 minutes before everybody, she stated. She spoke to Trezell. He told her whatever he told her in regards to it wasn't their fault, and, you know, the boys went missing. But that's where the responsibility is. Why did you say that they could go outside to play on the patio with chalk when it was cold outside and you wanted to build a fire? Which didn't make sense. Why did you allow them to go outside? Jacqueline could have used any one of those other rooms in the house to wrap presents away from the boys, or even use their bedroom and close the door to wrap presents. So that's not working too well, is it? So it begins to form some kind of a behavior pattern regarding both Jacqueline and Trezell. Why would they go about to tell a story like this in hopes that we would all try believe it? While Ryan Dean feels and has felt from that day that they did something to her boys. Yet we have to ask, if it's foul play, what's the motivation there? Is it money? Was it an overburdening stress to try to deal with the boys, being that they were rambunctious? And when you take a look at a young couple like this in their 30s, young 30s, 6 kids, all boys, under 10, you can imagine what that house was like. But we had found something very specific as to what Jacqueline and Trezell did do. And remember, action speaks louder than words. California City, California, which is 1 hour and 11 minutes from Bakersfield, California. Let's keep that in mind. And we're told that this is the area specifically where Trezell was outside throwing wood. And this is the gate that he talked about being open. At the time, the boys were out on the back patio playing with chalk. Was there any evidence of chalk on the back patio? Does anyone remember? Was there any evidence of chalk on that back patio that would even indicate that children were playing out there? Yes or no? Watch this TV. How you doing? No chalk. No, it wasn't. When you take someone else's child, you owe them an explanation if things go wrong, especially since the biological family is the only ones looking for them. I agree. Jackie says no. Adele says no. Care says no. Michelle says no. No chalk, no drawings. Texas Life, no chalk that day. Carol Smith says chalk, we believe, was the dog's name. Hawkeye Seneca, not until it was staged days later. Smita Fox says no chalk. Tanya M says no chalk. Nan says no chalk. Say that's supposed to be the dog's name. Daniel says no chalk till days later. Stephanie Queen says nope. Miss Libby says, yep, I saw that too, Hawk. Kimberly Earls says no. Yet it was cold outside. It contradicts himself right there in the beginning. Why would you allow your children to go outside when it's cold if you went outside to go get firewood? If you were cold, wouldn't you think they would be cold, especially if they're outside? And you may have been talking about it being cold inside. But this is the gated area that he was talking about. This is the backyard. Now, most folks say, well, oh my goodness, well, didn't we cover this information before? Didn't we go? Yeah, we did. We can only fine tune it and get more specific about it, but yes, this is where it all happened. And this is supposedly the area, and forgive me for the picture becoming disfocused, but whenever you do this, it does lose grade. The area where the boys were supposed to be playing with chalk. And the full area of the yard that Trizell said he looked frantically in. He also looked outside of the yard. But still no boys. Ages 3 and 4 are going to run that fast outside of this area and get away. See, that begins to become foggy. Real foggy. This area here was all dug up by the California City Police, the FBI, and special forensic investigators who covered this yard, dug holes in the ground, taking samples and specimens. What they took? They still haven't told us. I felt that they tapped into the septic tank to check to see if there was any biologicals in there. That was to make sure that nothing went down a drain in the house. They used tracker dogs in this particular area, also in the house. Now, as Police Chief John Walker stated, the dogs got hits in the house, more so than anywhere outside the yard. And that puzzled people just as well as it puzzled him. Why is it that you said the boys were outside playing with chalk, went missing from outside because you left the gate open, but the dogs couldn't track the boys outside that gate? Well, you break it down, common sense says they never left up out of that gate. The dogs got more hits inside the house than outside. Did something happen inside the house? That's what they suspected. Hence the reason for them bringing forensics out here to double check and make sure that they flipped this house. And they certainly did, according to Police Chief John Walker. We talked about this area here, this nestled area in the backyard behind the gate, where someone could have perched themselves in this area waited for the right opportunity, and then summoned the boys over or walked through this gate area and snatched them up. We've heard that too. However, for as long as they've been living here since September the 9th, when the house was sold to them, up until December 21st, when the boys went missing, no one has ever seen the boys in the neighborhood. That came out in the story. In this area here, this gated fence up alongside the back end of the lot. We showed you this before. And to me, to this day, I don't see any portions of wood that could ever be used by a fire, not unless you were burning twigs. But that would smoke up the house. Don't get firewood from a lot that's got no firewood to burn. I also talked about a theory that I had to say if Trezel's story was a correct story, how could they have possibly taken the boys off the property without being seen? So we showed you what night and day on the property line and the lot was all about when Steve, AV Watchman, was with me on our last live. And we covered this area, how dark it is back here. In fact, Steve visited this area personally himself. I talked about the theory of someone traveling alongside this gate, coming to this point here, and then coming through this area here, because in this yard, on this property, nobody lived there. This was, quote unquote, called the junk house or an abandoned house. And I said, if they had the means and the opportunity, they could have definitely used this mean right here to come through this area, snatch the boys from this area, walk alongside this gate and disappear. Now, as you can see from an aerial view of the same property, 10717, here's the yard, there's the gate. This is how long the house is to the street before you get across the street. What the slot size looks like from an aerial view. The neighbors behind the gate, adjacent from south, going northeast. How easy it would have been for someone to travel here at night, not being seen, and whether they were seen or not, the snatch would have been that quick for them to go ahead and take the boys if they went this route. To come to this point, through this backyard area, through that open gate portion that we talked about, alongside this fence, alongside the house, since no one lived there, and taking the boys out to the next side on the other side of the street. But we also have to consider cameras, the next door neighbor and the adjacent neighbor next door on the other side. Here, from a different angle, if Trezel's story was to stick, that's the route they would have taken. And so it is possible to use this specific route. Possible, I said. To wait for the right opportunity in the dark. Trezell goes in the house. You've got a blind negative line of sight to the boys. You snatch them up. You run alongside the gate. You go through the metal fence, alongside that metal fence into the yard, and back out to the other side. Just a possible theory of how those boys could have been taken off the property with assistance. A car could have been parked here or across the street or on the dirt panel here, just waiting for them to get into the car and drive out. But remember, that's just a theory. The other side of the house looks like this. This is supposed to be the junk house right off of Proctor Boulevard, which connects to 108 if you made a right turn, and then another right turn onto Aspen Avenue. Here it is again, from a different angle, off of Proctor Boulevard. This would be the garage area. And this would be the side fence area from the other side. Blind spot here, goes right back out to the street. From across Proctor Boulevard, where the double lines are, you could actually see it's 10798 Proctor Boulevard. So is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? That's what we have to consider. But one thing for sure, and I'm going to make a statement, and this statement is this. One thing is most certain and for sure. This dude, Trezell West, knows exactly what happened to those boys. He knows exactly what happened to those boys. They were offered a polygraph test by the California City Police Department. Whether they took one or not, we don't know. But according to Police Chief John Walker, it was put on the table. Whether they had accepted it or not still remains to be found. However, going back to the news conference, we can see specific body language. And I've isolated Trezell because his language definitely speaks more the truth than his silence does. And in studying his body language, says a lot. Stood this way says a lot. Cross my heart and hope to die says a lot. Was he really that cold that day standing out there at the press conference giving that story? And he had to shimmy his hands underneath his arms because his fingertips were cold, leaving his thumbs exposed? Says a lot. Was he concerned by the Bio family being off to the right of him, coming out with their allegations, stating that they allowed those boys to go missing? Why did they allow those boys to go outside to begin with? Once again, says a lot. I wanted you to see Trezell personally, up close. What does those eyes tell you? If it wasn't for COVID, I doubt very much he would have a mask on. And we would definitely be able to see more of his facial expressions. But the eyes say a lot. Demeanor says a lot. His physiology says a lot. His words say a lot. He didn't know this story was going to break as big as it did. He didn't know that this was going to be one of the biggest stories in our country and around the world. They didn't know that we would be pursuing this story online the way we are. So as far as we know, Trezell is a liar. He knows more than what he has expressed or ever told. And that was the only interview they gave. Now, if you heard the news clipping on the update that we played for you earlier, said that the news reporters tried to contact the adopted parents for news commentary. They declined. Action speaks louder than words. What you do speaks so loud. What you say or don't say, we can't understand. Yet with boots on the ground, such as AV Watchman, who was able to capture video surveillance footage of the night the boys went missing. At 1632, we see action here at 10717 Aspen Avenue. 1632-25, the right side of that white van sitting in front of the residence is opened. We would normally see a driver of a vehicle enter the front and go around to the driver's side to enter the vehicle to begin traveling. But in this particular situation, we don't see that. We see the right side door open, front door, for what seems to be almost a 24, possibly 28 seconds, give or take. Well, let's just go from the time stamp. 1632, which would be 4:32 and 25 seconds until that door closed. That's 1632:41. 1632:41 is the time we begin to see the van's lights light up and begin its way out of that driveway, cut to the left, and hit right down on the first right-hand corner, not far from the driveway. He's gone for 7 minutes, 7 quick minutes from 1632 up until he comes back. Now, who goes out looking for their children for 7 minutes? We don't see Jacqueline ever leave the residence or stay in the front of the residence or anywhere near or around the residence, appearing to be looking for the boys at all. That's right. Who goes into a car from the passenger side, closes the door, starts the car, and pulls out? Not unless you're hiding something or preventing yourself from being seen, and that's from across the street. Remember, the line of sight from across the street is negative line of sight. You can't see the front door with the van in its way. You can't see who's getting in the car, not unless you enter the driver's side. So negative line of sight from across the street is at 100%. Even if a camera was on, you still have negative line of sight. Now watch this, because we're about to see the same thing again, only this time we're going to see the same thing in broad daylight. And the same thing we see in broad daylight happens to have been not the 21st, when the boys were reported missing, but the same thing occurs on the 19th at approximately 11:34:24 in the morning. This video surveillance footage captures, to the best of our knowledge and of our attention, only 4 children leaving this house and entering the van in the same fashion we saw Trezell enter the van and pull out from that driveway on December 21st at 16:32. Here we have the same thing 2 days prior, with the van door opening, children getting in, along with Jacqueline. However, only 4 children were present. Only on one side. (11:34:29). (11:34:39). (11:36:18). Now you see the van door close. How you doing, T-Star? Miss V from MTGV TV, welcome. Timeline, folks. (11:36:38). Now we see the driver's side door open. And Trezell does get into the driver's seat, closes the door, and pulls the van out. In the same fashion, we see him drive away off the property on December 21st of 2020 at 16:32, 16:34. We're leaving to go to Bakersfield, the story goes, to drop off the kids to
grandma's house, most likely the grandma on Potomac Avenue. Here they come back. And I'm sorry about the time. Let me see if I can get a better shot of that. Yes, I do. 1546, 43. This is in the afternoon, almost 4 o'clock, quarter to 4, quarter to 5. Quarter to 4. Side door open. In the same fashion. So it appears as though they really don't want to be seen by the neighbors or by anyone. However, the neighbor who had this video camera pointing in that direction where the driveway was, which sits across the house, across this lot, we know was Mike. He had his camera on and running. I'm wondering what happened from the 19th to the 20th, why there was no video surveillance footage of that at all before we jump to the 21st, the afternoon and evening of the 21st. If we had that piece of information, that would tell us a little bit more about the activities that happened on Aspen Avenue here. Here, 1544-39. They're pulling in. Both doors open. 1545-24. Both doors open. And now at 1545-28, we see Trezell go out to the mailbox to check the mail. They didn't have any children with them at all. So what happened? What happened? We saw 4 boys get into the van. They pull off. Boom. 4 hours later, they come back. Boom, no kids. On the 19th. So Jacqueline and Trezell told a story on the 22nd to news reporters because they certainly didn't have the kids or the boys with them on the 19th here. The FBI spent hours into the night digging up the backyard. Wondering how those boys got out of the backyard. Tracker dogs and cadaver dogs were used to trace and track this backyard area and the side lots on both sides of the residence. No hits in or around the perimeter of the house, only inside the house. And what could have been inside the house, yes, belonged to the boys. Their bedding, their clothes, toothbrushes, anything the boys could have used, including their toys, could have been used to track and trace, but nothing outside. So this is what perplexed Police Chief John Walker. How did the boys get out of the yard, Trezell? If you say that's where they went, how could they have possibly left that yard with you being present? And how long did it take Jacqueline to wrap a couple of Christmas presents, as the story goes? Without her, a concerned mother, a mother's intuition, she never lets her kids out of her sight. always wondering in the back of her mind, where are the kids? Where are the boys? Peeking, wondering if they're okay. But we didn't see any of that being demonstrated by Jacqueline that evening at all. So these are supposed to be concerned parents. And you can see the evidence of how concerned they are. Just take a look. A picture says 1,000 words, doesn't it? This is a very sad story, unfortunately. We who believe 9 months later that the boys are still alive, we only believe that with God's help and a prayer, that they are. And that if someone assisted them off this property at that time and took them away, yet they're still alive, well, the only thing that we can hope is that the Bakersfield Police Department does their job and find them. I'm checking on something right now. Show this damn dog. I want to see the footage on the night of their disappearance. I'm not ignoring you, Jennifer. Matter of fact, I'm just going through my presentation. You know, I address the chat when I'm concluded what I want to share. We can get to the damn dog. Just give me a minute. But a picture says 1,000 words, and those words regarding Jacqueline and Trezell West are not good. None of this is good. Let me see if I had anything else I wanted to cover with you here. Oh, when the case came back from California City, California, and at the beginning of March of 2021, this case went from California City all the way to Bakersfield. Why is that? Because the foul play that Police Chief John Walker believed was that the boys were never there at 10717 Aspen Avenue, just like we all believe they never made it. All of what the California City Police Department did was double check and recheck and double check and recheck for the presence of the boys, which they only found inside the house and nothing else. No one has seen them in the neighborhood since they moved there in September of 2020. And what would you deduce from that? Most likely the same thing. Who would even think that the boys were ever there in that neighborhood at that residence at any given length of time if they've never been seen? What we do know is that 4 children did leave that property on the 19th, according to the video surveillance footage that was given to us by AV Watchman through Mr. Mike, I'll call him. And thank goodness his camera was running. But here is where the story gets very interesting. I'm going to play this part to you, and then Jennifer, if you'd like to come up and then direct me as to what you're talking about a little bit better, I'll save you the time in typing. Then I'll drop the link and you can come up and then we can find it. But here's where the twist in the story
actually was for me. Let's take a listen real quick, and then we'll come back to the chat.
A search was held on Saturday for the two missing Cal City boys near the intersection of Cottonwood Road and East Pacheco Road. Now, law enforcement and volunteers say they aren't giving up until they're found.
They've been out here searching, but they actually had dogs out here, and they had a large amount of searchers out here. So we don't have that. I mean, they're skilled at what they do, and now it's time for us to kind of step back and let them do their job.
You might recognize Rosanna Wills, who's the biological cousin to the missing Cal City toddler brothers, 3-year-old Orson West and 4-year-old ORRIN West, who, according to the boys' adoptive parents, went missing back in December in 2020 while playing in their backyard. And thousands of people since then, like Laura Vasquez, a volunteer, is calling for them to come home.
A lot of people don't want to come forward, being that there's been a lot of threats from people all over the world. There's been more people that want to help, and like Rose said, passing out flyers and helping with banners and different stuff like that. I myself was a little scared to come into the case, but there's 2 missing boys out there who need anybody they can that's going to speak for them.
On Saturday, 50 personnel from the FBI, the Bakersfield Police Department, and Kern County Search and Rescue participated in the search, according to BPD. Officials spent several hours in the area and wrapped up shortly after 12 p.m. And Sergeant Robert Pear of the Bakersfield Police Department says the boys were not found during the search.
As far as if any items of evidentiary value were located, I can't get into specifics. I can definitively say that the boys were not located. I think our reaction would be a lot different if that occurred. We have 2 missing boys that are from the Bakersfield community, and unfortunately, law enforcement can't talk about the specific details of what we may or may not know.
Volunteers over the past few months have been searching various areas of Cottonwood Road, looking for anything leading to the boys' whereabouts. And BPD would not confirm if their search on Saturday was a result of a tip or an investigative lead.
This is not the first search that has been conducted in the city of Bakersfield by the Bakersfield Police Department during our participation in this investigation. I expect that there will be more searches depending on the facts and the path of the investigation.
Saturday's search comes several days after the Bakersfield Police Department took over as the lead investigators in the case. Wills tells 23 ABC this change makes her believe they are now one step closer to finding the West boys.
Give the information of what we have to the officers and let them do their job, because there's no better way of closing this case than leaving it in the hands of the Bakersfield Police Department.
And again, as of Saturday, according to the Bakersfield Police Department, no arrests have been made. But if you have any information regarding this investigation, please contact BPD at 661-327-7111. In Bakersfield, Leslie Gooden, 23 ABC News, connecting you.
Okay. Want to make sure that that is complete. No, it is not off. Okay, it should be off. Make sure. Don't want anything playing in the background. Okay. I still got to manage these things. Okay. So that's what was most interesting. As soon as the case got transferred, officially transferred in the month of March of 2021, a massive search took place. You figure if the boys went missing, California City, California, Jacqueline and Trezell West, why would the Bakersfield Police Department be searching in the Bakersfield area for the boys? If they just ran out the yard like you said, you mean to tell me they ran all the way to Bakersfield? You see, that's why their story doesn't hold up. And they know it doesn't hold up, but both of them lied to protect themselves against any self-incrimination whatsoever. That's what we do know now. They decline a recent news update 9 months later. They declined to be such concerned parents thoughts and everything. We have the map. Open terrain, Mojave Desert in California City. The distance between California City and Bakersfield, 100, excuse me.
Away from the crime scene.
Exactly. You got 68.5 miles.
Just my thoughts on that.
It is a crime scene. And for them to have come out of California City from a desolate area, no foliage, no trees, no nothing, it kind of makes you wonder, was this thing planned well in advance to move out here to Aspen Avenue in California City, California? That was one of my questions. Going back now, we see that this case moved from California City all the way back to Bakersfield. From this desolate area where you could go out and purchase a parcel of property, most likely, and have your own home built to your custom standards whatsoever. And as I pull out, you will see what the terrain looks like. All this open space as I continue to pull out in California City. Now you figure, who in their right mind, being in their young 30s with 6 children, would want to move out here? What would be the purpose of moving away from family, away from all of the resources, schools, shopping malls, doctor offices, hospitals, I mean, you name it. What would cause someone to move way out here, isolated, this far, 68.5 miles outside of Bakersfield? I asked myself that question. Then going to the Casa Loma Apartments back in Bakersfield.
But, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But you have somebody in your chat, Remy girl. She's been a troll for a while, and she's telling people that are close with the family and family to shut up. And I would appreciate it if you blocked her, because we're not going to tolerate and she's going after Jennifer. And I'm just, I can't. It's getting really old. She's always in every chat. She's always causing drama. She has nothing better to do, and she plays victim each time. So
Okay, so
because it's causing a
Crystal?
distraction to your viewers as well. So
Yeah, Miss V, thank you. Thank you. If you put her in timeout, you only get 1. Next time, it's for good. If you can't act right, you shouldn't be here. So we go back to Bakersfield here, and we go back to a geographical area located in Bakersfield where the Casa Loma Apartments are, which is here. This is where Jacqueline Chazelle West came from. A previous apartment complex, 68.5 miles from California City. Now you figure with 6 children, that would motivate anybody to move maybe out of this particular apartment complex, because they only have up to, I think, about 3 to 4 bedrooms, give or take, in that ballpark. And you need the space. You need more room to deal with, children under 10, 6 of them, boys. So I said, okay. Well, from the time I came back here, I said, well, how far is that location from where they actually did that massive search over on Cottonwood and Pacheco? So I looked at the map again, found out, let me see if I can get this right. Yep, thank you. Found out that from this particular location here, and you could see it indicated by the dark blue and light blue lines indicating the geographical area. I'm starting from the Casa Loma Apartments. You can see it now. Going down to Cottonwood Road only takes 6 minutes. It's 3.3 miles down until you get to Pacheco. Once you get to Pacheco, where the boots on the ground, folks like Miss Crenshaw Incorporated, Miss LV United, Laura, and Miss Roro were out here in that news clipping that we shared with you earlier in the live. Once again, open terrain on both areas. And this spans miles. Let me pull out again. As you can see, before you get to any city activity, this particular area. Why did the Bakersfield Police Department in March of 2021, once they got the case back here in Bakersfield, search this particular area on March 7th? From a tip or a lead or something that indicates more of the foul play that Police Chief John Walker had talked about in Cal City here. And I said, well, If there's foul play, why is it all playing back into Bakersfield? When Bakersfield had found out, I guess, some information about some activity in these land parcels here that would indicate that there was some kind of activity concerning Jacqueline and Trezell West. However, and thank goodness they didn't find the boys. But whatever evidence they found out here in these land parcels, if any, would indicate the reason why they brought the case back to Bakersfield, because something happened more so in Bakersfield than it did in California City, California.
And I agree with you 100%, because if you think about it, if Cal City was just a smaller department that couldn't handle a case like this, Bakersfield would just be assisting them with resources. They wouldn't take the case because the crime happened in Cal City. They primarily need to stay in Cal City. They need to be in Cal City. They need to be out in that area predominantly all the time. So that's where you need to be, right? They wouldn't have you in Bakersfield working at a crime in Cal City. It doesn't work that way. Bakersfield took the case because they had just moved, and I guess they figured out, the crime didn't necessarily happen in California City.
Right.
Now they have California City Police
Exactly.
still involved because, the house is there and certain things still need to be done there. So they're going to be assisting each other, but they took that entire case over for possibly multiple reasons.
Mm-hmm. And so by them telling us that they had came out here to Cottonwood and Pacheco is a strong indication to me that in addition to the 12-month time span that they stated that they were opening up to any information whatsoever regarding any sightings of the boys for 12 months prior to them going missing, says a lot. It says something happened to the boys well before they got to California City, and that California City was more of a planned place to be at a certain time, given a certain circumstance, and for those activities to actually transpire more so in California City. I asked myself, why in the hell would Trezell, what prompted Trezell to make that phone call at that particular time? Why did he make that phone call then, knowing that the boys weren't with him at that particular time? So those questions are still on my table, because that's what prompted this whole story to come unfolded. He wasn't ready. Was he ready, or wasn't he ready? But whatever it was, he was not ready for it. He was not ready for this to get blown up the way it did. Just like the Summer Wells case, they weren't ready for this to get blown up, nor did the Gabby Petito case. More or less the Cash Gurnan case. None of these people in these cases expect these types of cases to get blown up on social media as they have. And it should stand to reason for anyone to, if you have a situation or circumstance that happens right next door to your house, and then the next thing you know, it's on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or whatever, and then it goes worldwide 2, 3, 4, 5 months later, 6 months later, it would stand to reason that this would be something that you would want to prevent from happening, because your name gets drug out there, your background gets drug out there, all of the victimology gets thrown out there, and then either you get a mess like the Kanika Jenkins case did out of Rosemont, Illinois, or you get a mess like the Cash Gurnan case turned out to be, with YouTubers running all through there, doing their little due diligence fun and everything for clicks and views. The thing that saddened me the most is finding out that Gabby was killed. And then coming on YouTube at night, looking at all the content creators out there collecting super chats. They're collecting super chats, and this girl we just found out that she was killed. And yet they're online collecting super chats. I don't get it.
That's right. And I bet none of those super chats went to anything that her family decided to
Not to
donate.
any, exactly. And
Because I
I
know
don't
that
get it.
they put all the donations toward an organization. It's off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is, but I know that, you know, so if you were going to collect the money and make money off of this girl's murder, then, you know, at least do the right thing and collect that money and make sure it's contributed to the right place.
And say that it's being contributed to the cause of
course,
you know, or whatever organization or whatever
the
police organization or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
You
The one
know,
that the family wanted it to go to is where it should have went.
exactly. And I was just totally surprised and just saddened and sickened by reputable channels bigger than mine collecting super chats. So thank you for the super chat. And these people are doling out $50, $100 dollar super chats alongside of PayPal's, alongside of Cash Apps and all this other stuff. And I said, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, because if one of their family members ended up dead and it ended up on social media, would they feel good? Other people collecting money off of their dead child's name? They don't stop to think. They're just reporting the story and just sucking it all in. Both views, clicks, and money on someone's death. Now, if you were doing it on the case investigation, looking for Brian, that is, then, you know, we can all understand that. But finding out that a young lady died far away from home, who never got home, and yet you're online that same day, that same night that the news broke, and you're collecting super chats? Sickening. But that's the world we live in, folks. It's the 21st century online stuff. So, and those folks know who they are. All you got to do is just go back on the date that the news broke and go visit their channels, and you'll see. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Indiana, for the super chat. Oh, California, much love. Thank you for the super. I said, look at this. Parasites and reputable channels doing
They're not reputable. They're just reputable to the people that follow them.
Yeah. Oh, and when I say reputable, I'm talking about a very high viewership doing it, you know. And when you go to their chat and you see the dollar sign sitting at the right lower right-hand side of the corner, and they're collecting super chats, and you see them post up underneath the banner, you know, you're like saying, I'll be damned. You know, do they realize what they're doing? Yeah, they do. They do. And in reality, and you know, mark these words, in reality, they don't care. They don't really care like they say they do, because they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. If the money was, if they got consent to collect any kind of financial monies regarding the case for the family, they could easily say that all super chats and contributions made on this channel goes directly in support of the family during this time of need. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it. Never heard it. Never heard it. So let me get off of that. Anyway, I wanted to show you this location between Cottonville and Pacheco Road, because this was significant to me regarding the case being in Bakersfield as we you know followed it back. All right. So with that, let me go back to us. So just to give you a time span and a scope, and I didn't mean to go on a little bit of a rant, but that touched me. It really touched me. And if those channel creators ever visit my channel and view this live to this point in the live and hear me say what I just got finished saying, yeah, food for thought. Food for thought. If you're covering a case and within the body of the case someone dies, there is a death of a loved one, do yourself a favor, take a pause on collecting any super chats under that guise. Because if you're not representing the family and you're doing it anyway, well, you're showing your hand too. Or what most people would say, you're showing your ass.
Not everybody was raised the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm in the same neighborhood as you, Miss New York. We're both from New York, and we're taking a look at all these different cases going in the same direction. We all want justice, but you see how justice is being accomplished.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. Somebody says Steve wants to come up to the... Y'all gonna keep me here again? I'll drop the link one more time. Oh, Miss New York dropped off. Much love to you, Miss New York, if you dropped off. I dropped the link for you if Steve wants to come up. Oh, Steve said in 8 minutes? I forgot he's in California, so. Oh, you got kicked off. You can hit the link back, Miss New York, if you want to come back up. Steve said he wants to come back up. And that's fine. If we do a little overtime tonight, that's okay, because we're doing it for a good cause. You know, if I need a super chat or if I need a Cash App or something like that, I'm not going to do it over the death of somebody on a case that I'm working. I will not do that. I didn't do it for the Kanika Jenkins case. I didn't do it for the Cash Gurning case. I didn't do it for any of the cases that I covered. Summer Wells going missing. I didn't even cover the Gabby case because everybody else is covering it. I said, well, let me stick to where I know on the cases that I'm working on matter the most. And that's the boys. And let's keep the boys on the table just as well as those other cases are on the table and loud and clear. The boys need the same thing too. I don't think since I've been on, no, I know, not to say I think, I know since I've been on YouTube, there ain't one penny go from one person's hand into my pocket off any of the content that I put out there. And if I do end up throwing a Cash App on something, it'll only be on the investigative portion of the content that I put out there. It will never be on the death of someone. That's just me. That's just me. The boys do deserve just as much as attention as the other stories that are out there. You know, and it's Miss New York proves a very good point. You know, certain people get certain attention for some strange reason. This one deserves our attention because it's been 9 months. Heather, you'll give me a loan? Oh, how sweet of you. Oh, you made me laugh. Thank you for breaking me up out of that. Oh, Mr. Boss Blake, how you doing, brother? You broke me up out of that. Thank you. But it's just ridiculous, though. But you really get to see who's genuine and authentic and who else has got other things on their mind. Oh, that was a good one. I needed that. I needed it. Just got out, shower, now you just got out the shower and now you need 15 minutes. What happened to the 7? What happened to the 8 minutes? You gonna keep me up here all night? Much love to the chat for supporting our channel tonight. Was there anything else I wanted to share with you since we're waiting for Mr. A.B. Watchman to join us? Let me see. Oh, I wanted to share this. This was good. I did this for Summer Wells. See if I can bring it up. See if that's what I wanted to show you. Let me see. Where was it? Casaloma? No, let me see. Was that it? Or was it here? Oh, here it is. Here it is. If you go to my community wall, I had posted Summer Wells' campaign in regards to getting her story on the major media news networks across the country. And many of you have responded. I mean, no sooner than I put it up. I had put the wrong link up at first, but then again, with the love and support that I have from my subscribers, they told me that, hey, it's a bad link, John. I double check it if I were you, and I double checked it and reposted the link again, so everyone was able to get through and sign a petition to get Summer Wells' story out in the mainstream media. Doesn't cost anything. And if you could visit my community wall, click the link, you'll come to this page, and it'll tell you the reason why we're doing it. And just go to the sign this petition. It'll prompt you, and just fill in the information and share it. Fill in the information and share it. And this is with change.org, reputable website that definitely works. I'll tell you, Summer Wells went missing from her Rogersville, Tennessee home on June 15th, 2021. Since then, the story has mainly only been seen by those who are on local or those who watch true crime channels on YouTube. We as a community who are determined to find Summer Wells and or get her justice want her name in national news to get the word out further on her disappearance. Us creators on YouTube are doing our best to keep her in people's thoughts and spread the word, but we need the help of the national news stations. National news spread it on the recent disappearance of Gabby Petito, ignited a countrywide search which resulted in her discovery, and also continued with unrelenting media coverage throughout the United States in the search for Brian Lundry, a person of interest in her death. If Summer Wells had the same spotlight, we are hopeful that it too would result in her discovery, as well as the arrest of the offenders. And that is the petition. And you can leave your individual reasons for signing the petition. As soon as I got it, I signed it and started sharing it, and it's on my community wall, and you can go there. The numbers are going up. And when you do sign this petition, I want you underneath this video or the community wall, please leave a note for me, a post for me saying that you signed it and that you give your heart and prayers to our efforts to get this case on the mainstream media. And that lets me know on my side of all that have subscribed to my channel that, we've pulled in our resources here to try to accomplish getting her story, her case on the mainstream media. And I thank you in advance, and much love to you and your family for taking the time out to do that. We started just a little over 24 hours ago, give or take, and we're already up to about 1,000. Near about 907 people have signed this, so the numbers should go up a little bit more tonight because I'm sharing this with you. So please do that, and we hope to see our efforts pay off once again. We made those phone calls to Bakersfield Police Department. Where's the update? Where's the update? Where's the update? Where's the update? We could do the same thing for Summer Wells here off a petition to try to get the mainstream news media on her case. Now, I believe at the end of this month, coming toward, I believe the 29th, it's supposed to be a television program, In Pursuit with John Walsh. He is going to be bringing Summer Wells' story on his platform. So we're starting to make some inroads already. And we want to try to get this to, I believe Court TV had covered a portion of this case on their program. Believe they also covered the boys on Court TV as well. So much love goes out to those two major media platforms for doing so. And we hope to continue making inroads with these major news media platforms so that this way, when we are dealing with a case or having to share the story of a case on our platforms, we can easily put up a petition to try to get some headway into the major news mainstream media for its attention. And to have that kind of a relationship is great because the word gets out faster and broader. A lot of people watch Court TV across the globe, as well as In Pursuit with John Walsh. So much love goes out to those platforms. So I wanted to share that with you while we were live tonight. Let me see what else was there. I think that was it. Let's see. Let me come back here and see if Steve came up yet. No, he didn't come up yet. Miss Q Carlock is in the house. Hello, sweetheart. How you doing? Thank you, Miss New York. I love me some New York. I do. She's got the right spice and the right word for this case, you know. And the only thing that we can continue to do is to keep the boys' names alive. And I promise to do my best to do that and to share with you any new information or any action efforts that we want to take going forward in keeping the boys' names out there. And hopefully it'll allow the Bakersfield Police Department to do what they have to do and start to narrow down all the forensics, all of the search locations, all of the interviews, all of the statements, down to some key players that could really, turn this case, flip it right on its side. But when you're dealing with a time length of 9 months, it gives you the feeling or the appearance like this case is stemming far more than the boys going missing out of a backyard. If they're checking Cottonwood and East Pacheco Road in Bakersfield. Do the math. Do the math. It kind of confirms to me that the story that we were told on December 21st of 2020 out in California City on the 22nd regarding the 21st was a ruse. All BS. And we know who told it to us because we got that on videotape too. And for Miss New York to come up here and to shout out Jamal Watkins, and I was waiting for the family to dip in. Grandma, granddad, uncle. Nobody said nothing. In fact, we're not going to say anything. We decline. They could have made a written statement. They could have sent in a written statement just to let us know that their thoughts were and are with the boys. So they showed their tail there, whether they know it or not. Oh, the link, please. The link. Oh, you finished showering that quick? Okay. The link, please. Please post the link, John. Okay, Steve, you got it, brother. He's probably calling me now. Yeah, I got you, Miss Q. Link, please. All right, Steve, don't come up on my panel with a towel wrapped around your waist. We don't do that here. Make sure your avatar is working, okay? I'm doing good, the real Gigi. How are you? Oh, you talk Mr. Q? Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, Heather. I'm not going to repeat what you just said. I dropped the rink one more time. We drop the rink. We'll get Steve out of the shower. Oh, yes. Y'all got me working overtime. Oh, man. Okay. All right, Steve, okay. All right, y'all dressed? Okay, all dressed. Now he's got on clothes, folks. Here we go. Steve, AV Watchman.
What's going on, guys?
There you go, man.
Howdy, 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 howdy. Oh, yeah.
I got an echo, man. Here we go. Steve.
All right, what about now? Is there still an echo, or is that good now?
Let me see when I talk. Okay, I think that's better. I think we got it.
All right, awesome.
How you doing, bro?
Good, man. How are you?
I am good. Everybody? I'm out here working tonight, as you can see.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for talking about the boys and everything. I got in super late. We have a lot of stuff going on out here in Palmdale, where we actually found something a few months ago, and actually it's been about 5 months when we came across a location out here in Palmdale. And we took a few soil samples. We ran those. It came back positive for decomp. And so I had to get a hold of Gloria's detective. I'm working pretty close with that guy. He's one of the good ones, I guess you can say. Right. But they still have their steps on, what they have to do. So they came out. They ended up bringing their cadaver dog after we did that already, right? And their cadaver dog alerted as well. So now we're basically waiting for, there were remains were found, but now we're just waiting for them to run the DNA from their side in order to let us know if it's 100% Gloria. But the trailer that she had, the camper trailer she had, we found that the same way they described it, being white, painted with house paint on the outside, and being cut up into pieces. They couldn't cut it up too small. And then they, from what I understand, they actually cut it up while she was still in it, and then they set it on fire. And then once they seen that fire wasn't enough to get rid of the evidence, from what I'm understanding is that's when they took out whatever was left of her and chopped her up and pretty much just buried her throughout that location, and plus another location as well. So, we got a lot going on out here. The other day I did a live feed, and I just, I asked other people with channels, like, you guys just talk about the boys, bring them up. I get it. If there's other stories that pop up, like Gabby or the little girl up there in Tennessee. Right. We should just always try to keep the boys' story going as well and just bring them up,
Absolutely. Were you surprised in any way, shape, or form, Steve, that the members of the adoptive parents and members of the family had nothing to say from the from Bakersfield?
No. Was I surprised? What?
Yeah, did it surprise you that they had nothing to say, that they declined or anything else like that?
Well, no, because we already see what they're doing. We already see how they're acting. So nothing surprises me no more with that family,
Yeah, especially your encounter with both Philip and Trezell. during that time they were walking the dog Chalk out in the street, and they had no words of thank you or any kind of gratitude to offer you, being that people were literally hundreds of miles away from their home looking for their kids.
Right. I mean, you would think, like we said before, if something happens to one of your kids and people are out there searching for your children more than you are, I mean, that's something wrong with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or, even if let's just say they are out there searching, they should be more appreciative. Like, hey, appreciate you guys doing this and trying to help us locate them. You know what I mean? I mean, I've had a lot of people contact me, man, and hit me up on Messenger, and they're always telling me stuff like, well, why are we so upset with the adoptive parents for? And how come the biological parents are not out there? How come they're not doing this and they're not doing that? I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff going on, man. I mean, because we have searched all around California City. There's times where you guys don't even know when we're out there, and we're just out there searching like crazy, right? So we can't, I don't know, I don't even know what else to do, bro. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. I have one more area that I do want to go to, and it's the last area that the boys were actually seen. And we brought that girl, I brought her story on panel one day, and that's that girl out there in San Jose. That's really like the last area where someone physically seen the boys. You know what I mean?
Out in San Jose, California?
Yeah, San Jose, California.
Now, how far is that from Bakersfield right now? About?
That would be about I want to say 3.5 hour to 4 hour drive, maybe a little bit less, depending, if you're going 85 or what. But it doesn't take that long if you're doing a straight shot.
Right. Now, how recent was that? Either a sighting, or how recent is that information about San Jose?
That came out, shoot, what's that been now? About 7 months? 7 months or so. Oh. And yeah, I mean, Crenshaw and Rowe, they went up there. I went up there different times, and I'm about to go back up there again because I got a little bit more information. And hopefully here within a week, maybe less, I'm going to be up that way towards San Jose area. I just want to, Paul's going to be coming with me. He's going to bring his dog as well. I mean, I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't know. What's really getting to me is something else that's getting to me is this, right? How come they're releasing like the Gabby Petito 911 phone calls, right?
Yeah.
They're releasing phone calls like crazy to 911 for other people, but yet they're not releasing crap for the boys.
Yeah.
Right. And remember Mike's video camera, by the time I got around to Mike, he already had it plugged in. And I guess on that system, once you plug it in, it starts rewriting over stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the cops took that from him and they were able to get stuff even further back than what we have, right? So,
okay.
Let's just say from like, the 21st, 19th, 18th, 17th, 16th, and just keep on going down into the day when they actually came and took it. There has to be something else on there. Why aren't they releasing anything? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I don't understand that, man.
And it also gives us a little bit of a clue as to the reason after 2 months of being in California City, California, and then in March of 2021, the case just gets funneled back up to Bakersfield because of historical indications regarding the boys. That's where they're originally from. That's where the family lives, et cetera, et cetera. And then shortly thereafter, 2 search warrants for the grandparents' house. The huge massive search that took place on March 7th out on Pacheco and Cottonwood,
Right.
only said to us the reason why they've expanded the timeline so wide to say anyone with any information regarding the boys over the last 12 months call in.
Right.
And so
Right.
it says a lot of activity, prior activity before California City showed up was involved regarding the boys in some way, shape, or form. So that's why we're getting.
Let me see if you guys can see that. Hold on, I'm gonna see if you guys can see that. I still gotta transfer it from my phone to the.
Hold on.
So here's the brand new car that Trezell and Jacqueline has.
Yep.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah. Let me see if I can click on your thing.
Widen the screen real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can. Oh, I widen my side. Hold on a second. I know I did it before.
I think you're right, Heather. I mean, we have found some shit. So I'm pretty sure you're right. And like I said it on my other live feed, I want to.
Okay, show it again, Steve.
What's up with Jamal Watkins and where was he at? Now, whose car is that? That's Jacqueline and Trezell's. That's a newer model. What is that? What is that damn thing? There you go. There you go again. You guys ever seen one of those? What is that thing? Like a little box Scion or something?
Yeah, it looks like one.
Not sure. And then I have something else for you too. Give me 1 second.
It does look like a Kia.
Oh, there you go, a Kia or something like that. Let's see if you guys can see this. You know what? You might not be able to see it that good. Hold on. I want to show you guys something, but at the same time, I can't burn the person that's able to get this this footage for us. So let me just find something real quick. I'm going to show you guys their brand new motorhome as well. So they have a brand new motorhome. They have that vehicle, and
because most likely they can't live anyplace else.
Right. You know what, John? Yes,
take your time. No,
yeah.
take your time.
You know what I'm going to end up doing? I'll end up sending it to you.
Okay.
And then you might have to crop a few things out. The person that's actually taking the pictures. That way we don't burn that person, you know?
Right.
But yeah, they have been back to that house in Cal City. They're not doing nothing to help with nothing. Obviously, you know that already. Yeah, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Let me see. I think I'm missing something. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah,
sorry about that, everybody in the chat. I'm sorry about that, guys.
Starting to post a lot of their comments now since you're doing that. It's one thing about multitasking that John Q has got to get better at, but little by little.
Okay, let me see here.
That's a good question, Nadal. She wonders if the other kids are still with CPS. The other 4 children are still with CPS.
All right, here's a picture that a guy ended up taking when here, hold on, let me show it to you. Hold up. Wait a minute. There we go. Might not be able to see it that good, but there's the motorhome. I'll just end up sending it to you if you can.
Now this is out in California City, or
exactly, yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, that's
okay.
Cal City.
Because I'm noticing the gates in the back and everything.
Yep, that's Cal City. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll go through it and then I'll send it to you, and then just see, pick and choose what you want to put up there. But they do have a motorhome, they do have a brand new car, and they just act like they don't give a damn about nothing, man, at all. It doesn't matter what anybody does, man. Somebody could go and offer them help and they're not going to take it. But I really want to know what's up with Jamal Watkins.
Yeah, we were just Miss New York and I were just talking about him not being responsible, or at least one of the responsible parties on the adoptive parent side, to at least make some kind of a statement saying that, hey, we're still working at it, we're still looking. We really can't say a whole lot about what we're doing, but the family is still concerned, and the family does want the boys back. Something.
Yeah.
And like I said, the silence is more suspect than the noise they make.
Yeah, that's true. You know what, man? I was talking to Paul, and myself and Paul, we do a lot of talking, and Paul seems to think that remember, Paul was a detective for over 30 years. Homicide. Right. And he seems to think that there is something bigger going on. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because give me that feeling too.
Yeah. I mean, what's so wrong with them releasing the 911 call? Right. What's so wrong with them releasing the rest of the videos prior to, the 21st? What? Like, what's up with that? What's really going on with that? I see, all kinds of different agencies getting involved to help everybody else. But yet the boys, what's that? I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's pointing the finger at maybe an individual or individuals more so than anything else, and they just don't have enough evidence to back up or support the claim.
Hey, Infamous, I already sent you a text. I sent you a text message already.
Okay.
She might want to join or something, because I was planning on doing a live earlier, man. We just get so freaking wrapped up with all kinds of other stuff.
I mean, if Miss Keish wants to come up, I mean, she can. I can drop the link once again. And I just did.
So on the video that we have, you could see, I mean, it might be a little hard for some people to see, but according to Mike, the neighbor, he said that dogs with the S.
Here we go.
They were there.
I wanted to hear. The
dogs were there. Mike said the dogs were there.
Now, Jennifer brought that up earlier, and she said that there is a picture showing the dogs on the Cal City property. Now,